A Triumph of Surgery Summary in English. James Alfred White is popular as James Herriot, and he was a British veterinary surgeon and writer too. He has written this story, A Triumph of Surgery. The story starts when Mrs. Pumphrey, a rich lady, takes her dog Tricky for a walk outside. A nearby veterinary doctor saw the dog and is in a shock as the dog looks like a bloated sausage having leg at each end. Then he advised her to stop giving him diet. But Mrs. Pumphrey is not able to refuse the dog. Soon Tricky fell sick and the doctor was called. The narrator, Mr. Herriot, somehow takes Tricky to his hospital for treatment, even knowing the fact that Mrs. Pumphrey will never leave the dog. He took the dog along and puts a bed for him in his surgery. For 2 days dog did not move much and also did not eat anything. On the 3rd day he wanted to go outside, and there he started playing with the bigger dogs. He also licked the bowls of other dogs to eat the remaining food. His condition started improving rapidly. Also, he started fighting for his meals with other dogs. After hearing this news, Mrs. Pumphrey started sending eggs to the hospital as she thought that Tricky needed energy foods after recovery. But Mr. Herriot and his partners started eating those eggs as morning breakfast. Also, for improving Tricky's blood, Mrs. Pumphrey started sending wine in bottles. But again, Mr. Herriot consumed those. Not only this, when she started sending brandy in bottles, they consumed that also. After few days, doctor took a wise decision and called up Mrs. Pumphrey as she was much worried for taking Tricky back home. Tricky was very happy to see his mistress and jumped into the car. Then Mrs. Pumphrey said that she won't be able to ever thank him for all this wonder. And she said that his surgery had been successful as Tricky was now cured. Conclusion of A Triumph of Surgery. The story signifies that the parents should not be indulgent, which may harm their children.